From the one-legged three being the toughest skill that Wemby's had to master, to Amen Thompson hilariously taking shots at NBA's League Pass prices. NBA's class of 2023 revealed their secrets ahead of the NBA draft. And Mr. Unique, Victor Wembanyama broke down his one-legged three in detail. Even though Vic's been popular throughout his childhood and teenage years due to his unique frame, there are things that people don't know about him. The NBA did a little segment with their class of 2023, playing 20 questions, so that fans around the world can get familiar with the new talent ready to take over the league. There was a question about the hardest skill to master, and given how he glides on the floor, you'd think Wemby's never had any difficulty with anything on a basketball court. But surprisingly, there was one thing that Vic found hard to master, and that's his one-legged three.
I don't know, probably the one-legged three, It's hard, but it works.
It does work. We've seen it.
Now, if you've seen the young Frenchman in action, you'll know that he relies quite a bit on that shot, but he also makes it on a regular basis.
Wembanyama trying to find some room. This is the running shot. Oh, and he makes it. Wow.
Somehow, though, it doesn't come naturally to Victor, and he had to put in the hard yards to learn that. You know what they say, if you work hard enough, you can do anything. Practice makes perfect, and Wemby's reached a point where that one-leg three has become something of a signature move. I mean, it's just so effective. So I don't blame him for using that like a bar of soap. What's truly surprising is how both Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson look up to Russell Westbrook. Don't get me wrong, Russ is one of the greatest players to grace an NBA court.
The score, count it! Riding it up and in, Russ. Scoot at 57% all the way to score. Russ glides in for two.
And modern-day revisionism has done him dirty. So it shouldn't be a shock that most of the 23 class grew up looking up to Westbrook. Still, you'd expect their answer to be someone like LeBron James or Kevin Durant, or even Steph Curry. But that doesn't apply to Wemby. He was asked about a player he liked to watch growing up, and his answer was the same as Henderson, Russell Westbrook. It makes sense to see Scoot having Russ as an idol, considering he's also a highly energetic guard. But it was somewhat of a surprise seeing Wemby choose Russ as well. The good thing is, both of them will get a chance to come up against Mr. Triple-Double, and that'll be a fun battle to see. Talking about fun battles, Vic's also very excited about the prospect of playing against LeBron James. Finally, huh? The #1 pick of the 23 draft has already been compared to some of the all-time greats, with LeBron James and Kevin Durant being the biggest comparisons. Many believe that Wembanyama is the most highly rated youngster since LeBron, and that's why a lot of people can't wait to see these two on the court together in what could potentially be LeBron's final season in the NBA. During the 20 questions, Wemby was asked about the one player he's looking forward to playing against, and he talked about how the answer has to be LeBron. He added a couple of other names, like Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, duh. But LeBron's the first one that comes to mind for Wemby. He's just as excited about facing KD, because Wemby's learned a couple of tricks from watching the two-time champ in action, and he wants to see how he'll fare against him when they meet. Both LeBron and KD hold Victor in very high regard, with LeBron calling the French youngster an alien.
We're labeling like this unicorn thing. Everybody's been a unicorn over the last few years, but he's more like an alien.
And Durant saying that he's going to be a big problem for the NBA. Well, KD, you've got your hands full, because this 7'3" giant has his eyes set on you. Scoot and Wemby weren't the only ones getting grilled, though. Amen Thompson was in the hot seat, too, and he picked LeBron James as his favorite player, as well as the player he'd love to play against. No surprises there, at least. Thompson's been a huge LBJ fan, it's common knowledge, too. But when he picked Space Jam as his favorite basketball film, some fans thought he'd go with Michael Jordan over LeBron as the player he's looked up to. That wasn't the case, though, and Thompson cleared the air, saying that his fave player is easily the king, but he's got to go with Space Jam as the best basketball film. Thompson was asked about his favorite player, and his answer didn't change. Looks like we've got another diehard LeBron fan joining the NBA. Amen also wants to play against James, testing himself against the very best. And given how the king won't be around for too long, his best chance will be to play in the 2023-24 season. Amen wasn't the only one raving about LeBron, though. It seems like the Thompson family are all big-time Bron fanboys, because his twin, Ausar Thompson, also revealed the king as his favorite player growing up. These two are adorably close, actually, because both of them picked each other when asked about who they'd want to play with from this year's draft class. Their answer about their favorite player was also the same, and it's also very hard to differentiate between the two. Ausar talked about how both the Thompson brothers had grown up watching Bron, and they were super excited to come up against the king on an NBA court, especially when you factor in how LeBron's been a star before the Thompson twins were even born. Asar said that it was very crazy that the King was still playing, and he considers himself lucky to be in the league at the same time as him. Brandon Miller, on the other hand, was feeling lucky just to make it to the NBA, and that's why he was a little nervous for his pre-draft interview. Once the questions started rolling in, though, Miller revealed it all. So, did you know that Brandon's favorite musical artist is Lil Baby? That's great taste, right there. To make things even more interesting, Brandon's favorite player growing up wasn't LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, or Kevin Durant. No, sir. It was actually Paul George. And Miller liked him so much that he ended up modeling his game on PG-13. In fact, he was super excited about the fact that George had recently followed him back on Instagram, and that's when you truly know you've made it, right? He was probably more happy with that notification than going at number 2 in his draft class. I'm kidding. But Miller is a huge Paul George fan, and it'll be great to see those two going at it this season. The shot came when Miller picked a game-winning block over a game-winning shot in an NBA game, which is something that no one else picked. Miller comes across as this humble, low-key fella who likes to do his talking on the court. I'm super excited to see him in action. He also let everyone in on another secret, telling the world how he's pretty good at football and baseball too, but gave up on both those sports in the last couple of years because he wanted to focus only on basketball. Looks like he made the right choice, because being the second best player in your draft class is no joke. It's a competitive class as well. And someone not shying away from the competition is Cam Whitmore, who was drafted by the Houston Rockets in the 2023 NBA draft. The forward out of Villanova was asked to describe his game in one word, and he went with competitive. The Rockets could certainly do with someone of that mindset because they want to break out of their rut and challenge for the playoffs. Whitmore was then asked about the best basketball game he ever watched, and he picked a play: the infamous LeBron James dunk over Jason Terry as the best game he'd watched. Whitmore also revealed that his favorite player was LeBron, and even though he's at the end of his career, Cam would love to play him before he retires. The youngster called him the GOAT, so that settles it, huh? It's just a shame that the Lakers missed out on CW, because then Whitmore would have gotten the chance to play with LBJ as well. I guess you don't get everything in life. The funniest interaction of the pre-draft interview came during Amon's presser, though, with many fans hilariously claiming that he'd get a fine from Adam Silver for his comments. Thompson was asked about how much basketball he watched over the years, and he said that he was always watching ball, before adding that the NBA League Pass is a little overpriced, but he always had it.
Yeah, I always grew up watching basketball. You know, I had League Pass every year. It's a little overpriced, but...
The room full of reporters completely lost it, and it didn't take them long to make headlines out of a harmless comment. The good thing is, Thompson said with a laugh, the NBA hasn't fined him for the comments, which is the least they could do, to be honest. And that's that. Although, it's great to see young Amon having a sense of humor. And as far as money's concerned, that won't be an issue now that he's signed his contract with the Rockets. So from Amon Thompson hilariously taking shots at NBA's League Pass prices, to the one-legged three being the toughest skill that Wemby's had to master. These were all the secrets the NBA class of 2023 revealed.